As an organization, we have not done enough to ensure that every person in our city receives fair and unbiased policing. And for this, as Chief of Police and on behalf of the service, I am sorry and I apologize unreservedly.
Jamil Jivani here, columnist with the Toronto Sun, and I'm here to reject an apology. Yes, Chief Raymer of the Toronto Police Service has issued an apology to Black Canadians over new race-based data released that shows how police officers have been interacting with Black citizens, particularly when it comes to use of force incidents and strip searches. Now, there's some concerning data here, but the chief's apology is not about making things better. It's not about how we move forward in a way that balances real public safety issues with respect for all citizens, regardless of their race, color, or creed. No, this is a page out of the liberal elite playbook. Let me explain. You see, the chief has used the word systemic racism. In fact, the Toronto Police news release uses the term systemic racism twice to explain these racial disparities. And that is a term that reflects a worldview that is getting nothing done to help anybody, Black, white, or otherwise. Systemic racism is a term that liberal elites use as a get out of jail free card. Essentially, what it allows them to do is to say, there's racism, so they can virtue signal, look at us fighting all the racism, but then not actually hold a single person accountable. Because there is no individual racist that they want us to focus on. They want us to focus on the system. Yes, the unseen spirit of racism that is living within an organization's policies and practices. Don't believe me? Well, ask Chief Raymer. If Toronto police are so racist, who are the racists? And is he going to be firing any of them? Or is this just another way to placate liberal elites who love to turn every single problem of inequality into a racial narrative? And that's my concern. If you're giving these people a get out of jail free card, if you're allowing people to go out and say, well, there's racism, but we don't actually get to blame a single person, we blame the unseen spirit, then what actually gets accomplished by that? More than that, as you move further to the left on the political spectrum, you also get these hyper liberal activists who love using terms like systemic racism as well, because it allows them to condemn our entire society, to condemn our entire country. They use racial disparities as an indictment of capitalism, of Christianity, of our constitutional monarchy, of our entire history. Why exactly would Chief Raymer and the Toronto Police want to feed into those narratives by using the exact same language? It's troubling to me. And that's why I reject the apology. If you want to actually get things done, let's focus on ideas that might lead to solutions. For example, in the very same data that Toronto Police use to say there's systemic racism, you can see that white citizens are overrepresented in strip searches in Toronto as well, at the same rate as Black people. So is systemic racism to be used to explain why white people are being overrepresented in strip searches? Does that make sense to you? Maybe there are some class inequalities at play here that might be a better explanation. Or if the chief really does want to apologize for something, what about another racial disparity? What about the fact that Black men are disproportionately victims of violent crime? Is he going to apologize for that? That's a racial disparity that claims a lot of lives every year. See, the point I'm trying to get to here is that if we want to make our cities safer, if we want to make our communities better places for kids to grow up in, we actually need to talk about reality as it is and not try to make liberal elites happy. That's my problem with Chief Raymer's response to this data. There's some real issues that need to be reckoned with, but this isn't the way to get things done.